So Miss Gaga has launched a new concealer for the girls. So I got it. We're going to try it and see how it wears on my oily skin. Hey girl, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faye, and if you are not new here, welcome back. And for today's video, I am bringing you guys another review for the oily skin girls. So as you can see by the title, Haus has come out with a new concealer. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a wear test for you guys and seeing if it is worth your coin. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into the review. So we are jumping straight into complexion today so that we can hurry up and get to the concealer. So you guys already know I'm starting off with primer. If you're new here, I do have oily skin, so I'm going in first with this one from DOESN. This is the Yummy Skin Balm, and I'm using the shade Universal as my base primer. Now I do also have large pores, so to smooth that out, I'm going in with my Cali Ray So Blown primer, and I'm just going to apply that right on the T-zone to smooth out my pores. Okay, so now that the skin is primed, we can go ahead and get into the foundation. I would typically color correct and maybe do a little bit of concealing on my dark spots, but I did actually get 2 shades of the concealer to try out some of that with later, so we'll hold off on that. And it only makes sense to go in with the Haus foundation. I do have a full review on this foundation on my channel, so if you would like to see a full 7+ hour wear test of how this wore on the skin, I will link that for you guys in this video. I do have mine in the shade 350 Medium Cool. So we're going to go ahead and apply that to the face and then get to the concealer. Okay, so I also went ahead and just took out my earrings because I felt like they were getting in the way, but let's go ahead and get into the concealer. So I did go into Sephora today to pick these up. I actually got 2 shades, and I initially picked out the shades based on this little color matching thing that they have on the website, which I will show you guys. So this is what it looks like. So basically based on whatever your foundation shade is, you can find that and then search for your best match for the concealer. So that is what I did. For the actual match to my complexion, I think it did a pretty good job. But for my under eye brightening shade, I ended up going with a different shade. It recommended 30 to me, I believe. Yeah, it recommended 30 and I ended up getting 31 just because I prefer a neutral undertone more so than, I think 30 was like a peachy or something else. I didn't really like it and I thought it was a little too light. These concealers retail for $32. There are 31 shades, I believe, and they're supposed to have a natural finish, be hydrating, also be good for dark circles and acne blemishes, which we're going to test out today. It's supposed to be a lightweight, long-wearing, non-comedogenic concealer that does more than cover. It's supposed to visibly blur, depuff, brighten, and conceal with medium buildable coverage. So let's go ahead and get into it and try them out. So let's first start out with the one that is supposed to be my skin tone shade. This one is in the shade 34 Medium Golden, and I'm just going to test this out on the areas that I have dark spots and see how well it covers. So I'm just going to apply, well, the match, first of all, is spot on with that foundation. So we're just going to pop a little bit on. And I'm also going to apply a little bit under my eyes to color correct before we go in with the brightening concealer, and then go ahead and blend that out. Okay, so that's how it's looking over top of my dark spots. First impression, it looks pretty good. I also think they did a really great job with matching the concealers to the foundation shade, because this is literally just blending right into my skin as if it is just my foundation. So really great job on that. I would definitely trust, if you want to get like a skin tone shade and a highlight shade, I would be pretty confident in recommending you guys trust the website on the match to your foundation shade if you have the Haus foundation. The concealer, on the other hand, I would just mind the undertone and pick the undertone that you think would fit best for you. But she looks good, and I love that because sometimes I don't always want to wear a foundation. I may want to just touch up certain areas, throw on a powder, and keep it moving. And this looks really good. So that makes me excited for like actually highlighting and wearing it through the day. I'm gonna add a little bit more on this side because as you guys saw, I do have some pretty intense hyperpigmentation on my cheek area right here. So I'm just going to apply that and let that kind of sit and see if we're able to build it up, since it does say that it's supposed to be buildable coverage. And while that's marinating, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the highlight shade. I have mine, like I said, in the shade 31 Neutral, and everything that I show in the video I will have linked for you guys down below, so no worries. And I do actually really like the wand on this. I showed you guys a close-up, but it's kind of wide and flat on both sides. So it kind of allows you to lay it flat on the skin and get a lot of surface area and kind of smooth the concealer out as you're applying it to the skin, as opposed to some other smaller doe foot applicators. I really like how that one just applies the concealer on the face. So before I blend this out, I'm gonna go ahead and blend out my cheek area and just see, yeah, that actually built up really nicely. So okay, so face is done. Well, concealing the face is done. Let's go ahead and get to the under eyes and all of my highlighted areas and blend that out. I'm just using my DSMD beauty sponge per usual. And if you want fuller coverage, I definitely recommend letting it kind of sit on the skin a little bit. I wouldn't let it sit too long because I am noticing that it does dry down a little bit, but that also is going to help to give you more coverage if that's something that you're looking for, just letting it sit like a couple seconds before you blend it out. But so far it's looking really good. Okay, so this is how the face is looking after blending everything out before actually setting it with a powder. So far as coverage, I think it did a really great job. It is giving very much medium to full coverage. So if you do have really dark hyperpigmentation, I would recommend, if you like really want it to be super full coverage, to just go in and maybe add a little bit of orange to the concealer, which is probably what I would typically do on this area. Just add a little bit of orange mixed in with the concealer to blend it out, just to cancel out that darkness. But it's definitely giving what it claims, which is medium to buildable coverage. So I think it looks really good so far. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set it down. I'm using my One Size translucent setting powder, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like once I set it with powder. Okay, so I have the powder on. I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes, and in the interest of time, I'm actually going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the face, and then I'll come back and show you how everything comes together in the end. If you're interested in this full makeup look, I will have a short coming very soon. But for this video, you guys are here for the concealer, so we're just gonna stick to that, stay on topic. So I'll come back and show you guys how everything looks once I finish applying all the rest of the products to the skin. All right, y'all, so I'm back with a finished face. It's giving latte makeup, it's giving fall vibes, it's giving all the things that just make me feel warm and cozy inside. But yes, this is how the face is looking. You guys can see an up close. Actually, I'll come a little bit closer for you guys so that you can see what the face is giving with the foundation, also what the under eyes are giving with the concealer. And honestly, I mean, I think it looks really good so far. It doesn't look dry or like crepey underneath the eye. It's not settling in any of my lines underneath my eyes, because I do have, as you guys can see, some fine lines under my eyes, which I feel like we all do. But yeah, it's not settling underneath. It did a great job of concealing, covering. Like, the skin looks beat. I mean, it's giving coverage, which I am very much here for, both on the face as well as underneath the eyes. And as of right now, it looks really good. So it is currently 5:43, but I will say I got a little sidetracked because, like I mentioned to you guys, I was also filming a short. So I would say the concealer was actually set on the face at 5, because obviously I finished the rest of my makeup and finished filming the short that I was working on. So we are going to start our timestamp for this concealer at 5. I don't really feel like I need to wear this like for 7, 8, 9 hours like I do for my foundation reviews, just because concealer, I feel like, is something you'll know pretty quickly within about 2 to 3 hours if it's going to be long wear, if it's going to be settling into your, you know, fine lines under your eyes, like what the vibes are going to be. So I'm just going to wear this for a couple of hours. I do need to run a couple errands and just do some things. So I'll come back to you guys in a couple of hours and just show you guys what it's giving on the face. But again, so far I do think it looks really good. The skin feels nice and light. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of powder and just stuff weighing my face or my under eyes down. And so far so good. So I will be back in a couple of hours to give you guys an update and let you guys know my final thoughts on the Haus Labs concealer. Let's wrap it up, baby. Hey girl, so I'm back as promised with a check-in. I have had this face on for almost 6 hours. It is currently 10:49. As you guys can see, quick little check-in. And this is how the face is looking. The makeup looks worn in, but it definitely does not look bad at all. Again, I do recommend, if you're interested in the foundation, that you watch my review. I wore this for like over 7 hours, and you are gonna want to see the vibes. You're kind of getting the vibes here, but that review, definitely check it out. I'll link it at the end of this video. But you guys can see the material. Okay, we've had it on for 6 hours, like I said, and honestly, the under eyes look really good. Like, the rest of my face is kind of starting to give a little bit of that natural radiance. If you're oily, you know, if you know, you know, that as you kind of wear your makeup throughout the day, your natural oils kind of start to come through and your skin kind of starts to look a little bit more radiant. Not so much oily. I don't feel like I'm giving oily. It's just kind of giving like that natural radiance that comes from, you know, your makeup settling and just having worn it for several hours. So I feel like that's really what it's giving. But if you look at my under eyes, the under eyes have not budged. They are not oily whatsoever. They still look really good. They don't look dry. They feel very lightweight. They don't feel dry. Overall, the under eyes are doing what they need to do. So if you've been on the fence about purchasing this concealer, I would highly recommend, both for the face, for concealing, and also for underneath the eyes. I think it held up really well for what I would consider a full day. If you've tried out this concealer, I would love to know your thoughts down below in the comments, especially if you have a different skin type than mine, like if you have combination or dry skin. Definitely let the girls know down below in the comments how it wore on your skin. And if you've been on the fence about this concealer, I really hope that today's review helped you kind of make a decision. So let me know that down below in the comments as well. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.